Alright, so in this video we're going to talk a bit about meditation and specifically what to do if you're struggling to meditate properly and if you're struggling to get anything out of it. Like, you know that it's a good thing to do, like you want to do it, you've heard about the benefits of doing it and you want to incorporate it, but you sit down, you meditate, you get a consistent habit, and even then, like, things aren't really quite working, because I've had this problem a lot where I've sort of, in the past, where I've just not seemed to get like what I've wanted to get out of meditation, and I've gone online and just looked at videos about meditation, but they all seem to boil down to saying the same old thing, which is like, don't don't focus on, don't worry if you get distracted, basically. Just when you do, bring yourself back to the breath. That's what every video that I kind of watched about meditation, that's kind of all it seemed to say a lot of the time, and I found this really frustrating because I know, like, just keep getting back to the breath. Like, I know that's the whole point of meditation. It's not about clearing your mind; it's about noticing your thoughts and all that. Yeah, so I'm just going to talk about things here that have helped me sort of get more out of meditation, and sort of, yeah, what's been helpful to me to get more consistent meditation habit. And I'll say the one thing that I've really noticed recently with meditation, that implementing this has made a huge difference, is I've realised that I actually store, like, when I meditate, I'm basically trying too hard. And this sounds weird because you think, isn't it good to try hard at stuff? Isn't that what it's all about? And it turns out with meditation, it's something that you really, it's not like working hard for a project or going to the gym or, most other things. There's something about meditation where actually you've got to be very relaxed and at ease to get anywhere from meditation. And so that's really the big thing that I've realised, is like not being super sort of, not trying hard, not trying too hard when I'm meditating. And okay, well, that's a good start. So how do you know if you're trying too hard? Well, the most obvious thing I've found is that you tend to store, like, when you put effort into something, your muscles kind of tense, right? Like, if you sort of push a barbell, you're gonna tense in your bicep or wherever. If you do a squat, you're gonna tense your legs. But even when you're doing stuff where the muscle isn't necessarily required, like if you see someone playing tennis, when they hit the racket, their faces will kind of tense. Or if you're thinking really hard about a problem, your eyebrows will kind of tense. If you're anxious, you'll clench your jaw. A lot of effort kind of and focus comes from tenseness in the body. And the body really is just an extension of the brain. And if you can sort out the body, then the brain will follow. So anyway, just to make this more practical to meditation, one thing I realised when I was meditating is I wasn't like, I'd be meditating, I didn't realise this, but like my face was tensing up while I was meditating. So I'll do a demonstration as to what it was like. So I kind of closed my eyes and then focusing on the breath. And then as I'm sort of trying to focus on the breath, and then my face is kind of tensing up. And then it's just, you don't get anything, you don't feel good, it doesn't really do anything if you're tense while you're meditating. And just one thing I noticed was, basically, when I noticed that my face was tensed up, I just release the muscles in my face, and just sort of add it as something to do while while I'm meditating, while I'm focusing on the breath, is just making sure that my face isn't tensing up as well, or other parts of my body aren't tensing up. So that's a good thing to do, because it's kind of impossible. You can't really be in like a sort of anxious state and have a relaxed face or relaxed muscles generally. So it's quite powerful to do that. Another thing that I noticed with meditation is basically you want to get as close to not doing anything as possible. Like, I've heard a lot of people talk about meditation and they say, if you can't meditate, just shut your eyes and don't do anything, you know. And that's very true. But I think a lot of the best meditation sessions I've had is where I've gotten as close to doing nothing as possible, you know. So I'm still like focusing on my breathing, still focusing on refocusing onto my breath when I'm thinking about thoughts, but very like loosely, very lightly. I'm not being hypervigilant about it. And there's something about being in that kind of state of mind that just lends you so much more easily to meditation. So yeah, like if you're really getting frustrated with meditation, honestly, one of the best things I think you can do is just keep your meditation habit, but just literally put on a timer and just shut your eyes and just don't even try to refocus your breath. Just sort of just chill out, just chill with your eyes closed, and just kind of notice what happens. Because I think that's kind of 90% of what meditation is. So that's another thing that can help. And the last thing I think I'd say is just time. So one thing I realised with meditation is I was doing these meditation sessions for like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and I was expecting way too much out of a meditation session of that length. And I talked to guys who were like meditation people, you know, specialists, and they were like, yeah, like I'm not surprised you're not getting very much out of meditation, like if you're only meditating for 10 minutes, you know. Now don't get me wrong, you can get a lot of benefit out of meditation. Like a good 10-minute meditation session can be very powerful, but I think what I've realised is if I want to take it seriously and I want to really grow my meditation habit, I have to put more chips on the boards, right? I have to be prepared to sacrifice a little bit more time to see the results. And, you know, I think about going to the gym. It's like, I wouldn't expect much out of a gym session if I was going for 10 minutes. You know, like, it'd be better than nothing, but, you know, ideally you want a bit longer. You want about, I would say about half an hour to 45 minutes of intense physical exercise. That's kind of what you should have. So, and I'm not saying that they're exact equivalents, because obviously physical exercise is very different to meditation. And I think you know, don't take this analogy all the way, but I thought, yeah, like the gym is something that I'm willing to put like an hour into per day, but I'm not willing to put an hour into meditation. And, you know, I'm not saying like necessarily the way that I'm going to solve all my problems with meditation is to meditate for an hour a day, but I do think I need to be pushing myself a bit more with it. And I think the easiest way to push myself really is just to do it for longer, you know. Sorry guys, I'm just going to turn on this light because it's a bit quiet, bit dark outside. Yeah, so I just decided like, yeah, I need to put more, I need to sacrifice more of my time to you can't really see me, can you? To get more out of it. And yeah, like that's one thing I realised is like I was kind of afraid to meditate for longer than just 10-15 minutes, because that was kind of all these cute videos of meditation I watched. So it was like, oh yeah, quick 15-minute meditation session. But like looking into like the things I want to get out of meditation, like no, I've got to do more than just a cute headspace meditation. I've got to push myself to a point where it's a bit more uncomfortable, you know. And so I'm really trying to push myself to do 20, 30, 40-minute sessions. And eventually I do want to do like a 1 hour session just to see what happens. Like, I'm just curious what happens if I meditate for an hour, you know. I mean, that's what Hamza did when he was really making progress on his early self-improve, you know, his early self-improvement videos. Is he'd have meditate for like an hour a day. And you know, not saying you should copy everything he did, but you know, it's worth mentioning that. So yeah, those are the things I really focus on. Is basically, you know, it's kind of weird because I told you earlier to like be sort of relaxed about it and not sort of push yourself too hard. But at the same time, I think the point of meditation is if you want to push yourself in the practice, push yourself in terms of the time you put into the meditation, but not in terms of how focused you are doing the meditation. You know, when you're actually on the meditation chair doing your meditation, don't try, just kind of be very relaxed. But at the same time, be prepared to push yourself to doing long sessions and just be open to what happens. And yeah, I've found like the meditations I've done recently where I've just been doing it for a bit longer have been really good, and I've gotten back to that. Like, I remember like a year and a bit ago, like when I properly started meditating for the first time consistently, like I had a short period where I got a lot out of it, and I started to recognize how much I was just not focused during the day and how much I was rushing for no reason. And it was a really nice addition to my life to have that. And you know, I remember it sort of petered off a bit. I started getting quite complacent with my meditation. You know, I wasn't really meditating for longer periods of time, and I stopped getting anything out of it, and I just gave up after a while because it was starting to piss me off. But recently, I've started to get back into it, and I've just made myself meditate for longer periods of time. And that's what I'm going to do now. Actually, like you know, it's about 8:30 now, and I'm gonna squeeze in a little, you know, half an hour session. You know, and I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, I've just started getting these. I've noticed I've started getting the same revelations that I got when I started meditating, where I'm like, oh, I'm rushing about here when I don't need to be, you know. And it's so nice to get that feeling, and it's so nice to know that it's down to your own discipline, your own habit of meditation. Yeah, it's really great. So yeah, there you go, guys. That's my current path with meditation. It's where I am with it. As always, guys, if you want someone to help you to grow, looking for someone to set you some goals, like hold yourself accountable, you know, get in touch with me. We can talk about meditation, self-improvement, just general goals, stuff like that. Links below. Just book a free session with me, and then we can go from there. But otherwise, guys, it's been a pleasure.